And there's some bear tracks in it. And there's some bear tracks back here. And there's a track here, and a track here, and a track here, and a bunch of bushes in here, and a bush here, and a bush here, and there's a track here, and there's a track here, and a track here. Just like a circle over there. And there's a bush right here.
Yeah.
And this bush is snapped, right? It's maybe about this high. It's a shrub, some kind of sagebrush shrub. And the trunk is snapped on it. And the question is, what happened here on this shrub? And I walk up to it and I'm like, oh yeah, look, there's a bear coming through and it walked over this shrub and it broke it. So cool, that's a bear doing that thing, that straddle marking thing where they walk over a shrub and they leave some scent from their genitals on it or whatever gland they got down there. And it's communication. So I said, black bear straddle marking. And I was like, cool. I feel pretty good about this answer. I see bears do this a lot. I'm not really familiar with sagebrush. Mostly I see them do it on like taller saplings and stuff where I live, but whatever. And so we come to the debrief time, and the evaluators, and mind you, there are 4 evaluators who have my census about this question. And they're like, cool, so there you go. There's this bear walking through here and walked over this bush and snapped the trunk, and this is consistent with what we see for black bear straddle markings. This is black bear straddle marking. And this one participant, who actually was one of the people who had the least experience in the group, was like, wait a minute, was this bear walking? Like, it just doesn't look like a walking thing to me. One of these evaluators has written a book about black bear behavior. And this evaluator is like, yeah, look, here's a front foot and a hind foot. Sorry, that's a bush. Here's a front foot and a hind foot. That's an overstep walk. This bear is just overstep walking through here like they do. And then she was like, but I don't see the overstep walk. Look at this track right there, all alone by itself. And all the evaluators are like, and they literally like, we're not having another gait discussion. This is an overstep walk. These gait discussions don't add anything to our they're like way too out in the weeds. They don't add anything to our understanding of the animal's behavior. I think anticipating a discussion which is much like the lope and gallop discussions that we have all the damn time, which I am wicked guilty of. And so this woman's like, hold on, I just don't get it. And then a couple of us stood back and we were like, because I didn't bother pulling out the gate. I saw a bear moving through a circle with a broken shrub, and I was like, straddle marking, I know what they're going to ask me. I didn't look. And then I was like, well, me and we just stood back and I'm like, wait a minute. Front hind. Yeah, but in an overstep, like that just don't add up. Then there's this big space here. And then we was like, hold on, this just does not match my visual pattern for overstep walk track patterns. And they were like, no. And then we had we had a conversation about whether or not we were going to have the conversation. And then finally, one of the evaluators, so here's the circle, goes like this, and steps back and looks at a whole bunch of other tracks. And he was like, oh shit, that's a lope. That's not an overstep walk.
Yeah.
And then one of the others was, no, it's not. And they had a debate about it. This played out fairly quickly, right? But then all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, but after a little while, all 4 evaluators like, you know what, that's a lope. It's not an overstep walk. So what does that mean? It means this bear was running either from something or towards something, and this is highly likely not straddle marking, and all 4 of them were wrong. Which is awesome. It was an awesome moment. It was so cool.
So you guys get bonus points for that?
I think they ended up taking both answers.
Yeah.
And I was just like, just because the evaluator, I kind of shooting myself in the foot here. I was like, just because the evaluators got it wrong, doesn't mean that we should get it right. We're here to correctly interpret this. There's a whole other question about the complexity level of the question, right? But it was really cool because it was this one participant who it just didn't click for because this person had less experience than the rest of us, and that means less assumptions, I think, right? The more experience we have. Yep.
I just want to offer, because I love that, is that is such the danger of creating elite spaces in which advanced or expert trackers are concentrated, and there's no entry for, and there's no space for beginners. Just a bit of it.
Yeah. So that is my favorite story about how it isn't just a story of walking up and saying, what happened here?